My question for you, Mr. President, is how is it acceptable in America that women's lives are at risk, doctors are being forced to turn away patients in need, or risk...
That's a bit hyperbolic. Women's lives are at risk for not having an abortion. What? What do you mean?
And I'll tell you, you would have never had the Ukraine monster at all. It would have never happened.
Putin was literally scared of Trump. Putin was uneasy about Trump. If I want to be as fair as possible.
Putin makes a fortune on this war. You know, everybody said, oh, he can't afford it. If Biden allowed my policies to stay in place, oil would right now be at $40 a barrel, and Putin wouldn't be able to afford the war.
We are going to get to the war in Ukraine.
All right. Hello, my name is Mr. Wise Guy. Welcome to my channel. Do not leave. We're watching the man himself, Donald Trump. And it's the full interview. But before we get into the video, like and subscribe. Comments are great too. Thank you very much. So on to the show.
Very nice woman. Well, some people like that, I would say. But she left office. She said very strongly, I will never run. He was a great president. And then in some cases said the greatest president in my lifetime. In one case said the greatest president ever. Now she's running. Nikki Haley has nothing to do with this. We were going to make a fortune off our energy. We were going to send the energy to Europe. Europe was going to pay us tremendous amounts of money. And I'll tell you, you would have never had the Ukraine monster at all. It would have never happened. Russia would have never got, just by sheer force of personality. But beyond personality, what happened is when oil hit a...
Putin was literally scared of Trump. Putin was uneasy about Trump. If I want to be as fair as possible. Putin was uneasy of Trump. He didn't know Trump was unpredictable. He didn't know how Trump was going to react if he was going to do anything. But China, Putin, when Joe Biden came into office, all of them thought he was a joke. Everyone thought that Biden was just a joke. So that's why Putin was like, yeah, who cares? We're just going to go in. What is Biden going to do? What is that old man in office that gaffes every 24 seconds is going to do if we decide to go into Ukraine? Like seriously. Even China was like literally just like they didn't I think they're bad mouthing the US now, or there was like instances of China's representatives bad mouthing the US office or whatever, or demanding things that unfairly or something like that. I don't know, but like it was basically because like Biden was in power, and what's Biden gonna do about it, right? Mr. Gaffs, like what is Mr. Gaffs gonna do about it? Also, my battery's running out. And see, this is why I like these headphones. When the battery's running out, you get a new battery. You get a new battery for SteelSeries, and you take this one out, and then you put the other one in. That's fully charged because there's a little hub that charges it, and then you turn it back on, and there you go. And you put the other one right back into its little charging port, which I'm not going to show you, but it's like right there. And there you go. It charges. I got a full battery, and I can just keep on going.
$100 a barrel. And by the way, it's right there right now again. Putin makes a fortune on this war. You know, everybody said, oh, he can't afford it. If Biden allowed my policies to stay in place, oil would right now be at $40 a barrel, and Putin wouldn't be able to afford the war.
We are going to get to the war in Ukraine, but first...
Yeah, literally. As soon as Biden came into power and did all those executive orders and deleted a bunch of Trump's executive orders, we started being reliant. Specifically, I think New York was specifically like before they and the whole Ukraine war started. And then as soon as the Ukraine war started, New York was like, hey, we don't like this, so we're not going to buy oil from you anymore. And then a lot of people in New York's electric bills suddenly started skyrocketing. I wonder why. It's almost like there's a scarcity now of oil or natural gas, I think, because New York's not buying it from Russia anymore because of the whole politics and the war and stuff like that. Like, I wonder why. I wonder why things started to skyrocket whenever that war started in New York. Like, it's kind of funny how that happened. Like, New York deserves it. Like, and Biden kind of put New York in that situation, like, because he took away the executive order for the U.S. to be energy independent, which requires us to be drilling for oil. It took away the executive order, and then the US slowly but surely increased all of their gas prices, because gas prices are reliant of the price of oil. So it's like you can't sell oil to something and then expect gas prices to go. Like, you can't increase the price of oil and then not have gas prices go up, and vice versa, basically.
I do want to talk about the issue of abortion, which is important to a lot of voters all across the country. Just this
abortion.
week, women in Idaho and Tennessee, I don't
We're
know
only
if you saw
23
this,
minutes into
filed
this.
suit against their state, saying their lives were put at risk after they were denied abortion services.
I'm like an hour in, by the way, and we're only 23 minutes. I've been talking up a storm.
Because their state's restrictive laws put in place after Roe was overturned. So my question for you, Mr. President, is how is it acceptable in America that women's lives are at risk, doctors are being forced to turn away patients in need, or risk...
That's a bit hyperbolic. Women's lives are at risk for not having an abortion. What? What do you mean? What women's life is at risk for not having an abortion? It's almost like... And secondly, an abortion. If it's so risky to have a baby to the point to where women's lives are at risk if they can't terminate their baby, then what? Like, if it's so like, the risky thing is you having the baby, if that's the issue, because there's nothing to abort if there's no baby to abort. Like, I don't understand how the framing of that's kind of like intuition pumping or morally pumping something into, like, it doesn't make sense when you think about it. Like, they make it seem like the abortion is the thing that's causing it, when it's only, like, abortion only can happen is if you have a baby, and there's other ways of preventing that baby to even be coming into existence without abortion, like abstinence. Like, if it's that big of an issue, why don't you just practice abstinence, where it's 100% success rate of not having a baby? Like, you don't do the thing to create the baby, then you don't need the abortion. Abortion is not a problem. But okay, I like how she tries to frame it like that. Like, that's kind of crazy. Wait, let me listen to that one more time.
The question for you, Mr. President, is after they were denied abortion services because their state's restrictive laws put in place after Roe was overturned. So my question for you, Mr. President, is how is it acceptable in America that women's lives are at risk, doctors
Women's lives are not at risk. You're being super hyperbolic.
are being forced to turn away patients in need, or risk breaking the law?
Ready?
Oh, well, leave that state if that's your number one issue. Like, seriously, leave that state or become abstinent. It's not that big of an issue. Like, holy crap, is it that hard not to like have sex? Or go to a different state if you want to really do that so much. Or literally wear protection. Like, there's so many other options than just to have an abortion. Like, come on now. Women's lives are at risk. Being very hyperbolic right now. Alright, so you made it to the end. Thanks for watching. Remember, comments are great too, and like and subscribe, but mostly comments. Comment, please. I need to know what your thoughts are. The whole part of this entire channel is thinking. Thanks. Come on now. You can do it. Down below. Just type it out. I don't care what it is. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.